Panthers choosing Bryce Young number 1 overall, the quarterback out of Alabama. This is something that we all knew was coming, or at least 99.9% of us. Hey, Bryce Young is going to be that guy.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, the more I like it. The more I myself have been convinced of it that this was the correct decision. Because something that we talked about yesterday, you said it, 5'10", 190 pounds. A lot of Panthers fans, people out there are like, why'd you take the small guy?
Yeah.
Questions about the frame. Legitimate questions.
Yeah.
100% valid.
However.
Nick
off.
Saban.
Oh, he's about to go off.
Nick Saban.
Oh, he's about to go off.
Nick Saban
go off,
does
son.
not look at a 5'10" quarterback when he can go to any quarterback in the entire country.
Oh, he cooking.
And say, hey, I'm Nick Saban. Here's a scholarship to come play at the University of Alabama, you 5-star quarterback, whomever you may be. But no, he shakes that guy. What does that guy do? Wins games, wins a Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, yes, Alabama has a ton of talent. They do, but we're the first-round draft pick wide receivers. I'm sorry, is Ruggs, is Devontae Smith, or any of those other guys that Mac Jones had or Tua had? Are those guys floating around out there on that team this past season? No. Where's the first-round offensive lineman that we sometimes see coming out of there?
Weren't there.
Don't see it. Then I'm not saying these guys aren't talented, but it's not like a lot of people say with C.J. Stroud, the quarterback of Ohio State, that he was carried by all this great talent. My point is this. That dude is special.
And we didn't see Alabama highly represented throughout. There was some Alabama picks in the first round, but it wasn't normal. Like we normally see, we normally see like 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah.
In the last few years. You know what I'm saying? We didn't see that. That shows that Bryce knew exactly what he was doing last year, and it was because of his talent, no matter how big. Here's the thing that made me like it right here, is the fact that the Panthers had conviction. Hate to be that fan, that ultimate fan, but the Panthers themselves, the Panthers themselves had the ultimate conviction. Here's one of the things that kind of won me over, all right? Here's one of these facts that I read this morning. When it came down to the scouting, the head scout who scouted Luke Kuechly and J.C. Horn for the Carolina Panthers is also the same person who came back to Fitterer and David Tepper back in 2021 and said, Bryce Young is amazing. We may need to look at him for the future.
Maybe it was all a thing.
The guy has an eye for talent.
Yeah, well, say what you want about J.C. Horn about injuries, but J.C. Horn is a great player. We all know what Luke Kuechly was, the linebacker who should be in the Hall of Fame. But speaking of David Tepper, here's Tepper telling Bryce Young, hey, you're the dude.
Hey, Bryce.
How we doing?
How you doing? You remember in Arizona's Super Bowl when I told you we were going to pick a quarterback this year? We're not going to wait till next year?
Yes, I do remember that.
Remember that conversation? I wasn't kidding. I wasn't kidding. So you want to trade us from Sweet Home Alabama for some Sweet Carolina?
I can't wait.
I like that. I like that. Okay, Tep, you won me over for a moment. Okay. And thank you again for the running water you brought to the city of Charlotte. So thank you for that.
The billions don't hurt either.
The billions that, sure. Yeah. We're going to get in more NFL draft here in just a moment. But as I mentioned a few minutes ago, Chris, Game 6 tonight for the Canes.
Can't wait.
Let's go.
They have to close out tonight.
Got to finish this one out tonight. Do it. Now, Rod Brindamore yesterday mentioned, hey, or actually earlier in his press availability after the morning skate today, he was asked, hey, who's starting in goal? Well, is it Ranta or is it Freddie Anderson?
Maybe. That's the only one that I'm not going to disclose, just for the hell of it. Well, there's just nothing else to have fun about. So I'll let you guys sweat it out.
Was it an easy decision or a hard decision? Or
no, it's either one of those. It's just kind of is what it is.
It's making us sweat.
Okay. You got me sweating here, Rod.
Sweat.
Who is it? He did allude yesterday. Walt Ruff tweeted it out. This is something that Rod Brindamore said in his press availability. Is Freddie Anderson potentially going to play? He says we might see that. This isn't a knock on Antti Ranta's play. Ranta's been good overall in this series. He was really good in their game. A couple just weird bounces in front of him. Literally a puck goes off Sebastian Aho's face.
Yes.
And the puck's still in the air, and Brock Nelson bats it out of midair, and Ranta still almost makes the save. That's one of the goals the Islanders scored back on Tuesday in game number 5. Bounces just literally didn't go their way. That being said, Ranta, we haven't seen him start 6 games in a row this season. We saw it last year in the playoffs, and guess what? Things started to break down for Ranta.
And the fact that Freddie Anderson was brought here for this moment,
yes.
and he hasn't been available for this. He
yes.
was injured during the playoffs last year. He's been injured so far in the first 5 games of the playoffs this year.
Yes.
So, finally, for the first time in 2 years, it will be great to see Freddie Anderson. Also, just to give the Canes a different look, and maybe the Islanders have figured out Ranta's tendencies. It'll be good to see somebody new there, just so they can have somebody else to figure out.
I don't know. To be determined. We'll find out in the pregame skate. Which, again, puck drop just after 7 o'clock tonight. Storm Watch with Adam Gold begins at 6 o'clock right here on 99.9 The Fan. Also, you can listen to the Canes tonight as you are watching the rest of, or at least the second and third round of the NFL draft. Now, there's a lot of confusion out there in terms of how things kind of shaked out yesterday with the NFL draft in terms of teams moving up, teams keep trading, and all those kinds of things.
I think I'm hearing something.
Oh, you're hearing something?
Will Levis is still sitting in a green room.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's still right there next to his girlfriend.
Yeah, his sister,
his sister,
mama.
and his mom.
By the way, his mom was not happy yesterday.
Do they? I'm wondering. We have to see if we could get from our source.
Yeah.
Are they wearing the same clothes from last night? Did they pack another pair of clothes? Because they certainly did not expect to still be in Kansas City on Friday.
Did they accidentally check out of the hotel? Honestly, I'm going to get into this a little bit later on, but Will Levis kind of feels like Jimmy Clausen of 2010. I'm being dead serious. I'm being 100% serious because that guy was hyped up. Right, a lot of people actually had him going number 4.
Yeah,
and like Mel Kiper in his last mock draft.
I mean,
number 4 to the Colts, Will Levis.
A few days ago, people had him going number 1.
Well, that's some stooge on Reddit, which, by the way, it's just Reddit.
But people bought into it. Literally,
people were like, "Is this actually a thing? Is this like some
the betting
undercover?
Odds shifted in Vegas, and people literally put money on that.
Yeah, well, and
lost money.
Well, they're the biggest losers of this draft. People want to talk about the biggest losers of a draft or a certain round. Yeah, the people that bought in on Will Levis.
Going number 1.
I'm sorry. Or even just getting drafted in the first round. He'll probably get drafted today. But we saw this last year with a lot of people thought maybe Desmond Ridder or Malik Willis would go in the first round. Maybe late, a team might move in, or maybe early second round. Those guys fell to the third round.
Yeah. Sam Howell. We
fell to the
last
fifth.
We knew last year at this time that he wasn't going to go in the first round, but he was initially thought of as a first rounder before his final season at Carolina.
Yeah, and he goes in the fifth.
And he went in the 5th. He certainly wasn't projected to be a 5th rounder.
No. And to think the Carolina Panthers could have drafted him. But they moved in to take Matt Corral, the quarterback out of Ole Miss, in the third round last year, trading a pick from this year to do so.
He's salty right now.
Yeah, he is very salty right now.
We'll talk about that later, too.
We definitely will. That's